And I think you and I talked about it last time. What happens if Ripple wins round one at the trial court, or wins to a degree that there's a determination that XRP trading now is not a security? Then it's on to Coinbase and Gemini and the rest of them. Are you going to relist XRP, or are you going to wait for the Second Circuit Court of Appeals? Well, if you think about it, Ripple would be unique. It would be the only token that's got a declaration from a federal judge that it is not a security. So in my mind, it gets hard to not list it, because none of the other tokens you have on your platform at fill in the blank exchange have that seal of approval of a federal judge. I think it tips things dramatically, even though the SEC would come out immediately, say, we disagree, we're going to appeal, judge got it wrong, here's why, whatever. The fact remains that an unnamed exchange may be listing 200, 300 tokens. One of them has a judicial determination it's not a security. One of them that's not listed has this judicial determination. So there's a really, really good argument that it should be changes.
Now, listen, honestly, I think we're trying to look at both sides too. This thing could go to distance. It could go in favor of the SEC. Right. And there's 3 more years of global adoption and no U.S. adoption. So I just want to, level a playing field out there.
Yeah, that's right. And
submitted online anonymously, and then that's going to be the one quota that I was given. This is I think I like this one. Here we go. The Fed is clearly, I'm just reading this, okay? The Fed has clearly indicated that a decision to issue a CBDC would be a decision for Congress, and that it has no intention of issuing the CBDC without authorization from Congress. Therefore, why do we need a bill to tell the Fed to do something, to tell the Fed to not do something it was never planning on doing?
It was never planning on doing. Whoever sent that in, I really appreciate it, and I understand their logic. But they are assuming that there are good actors in this space, and that what they are hearing from these unelected bureaucrats who are saying there's nothing to see here. It's all good. We need to have permission. It's interesting. The Federal Reserve issued some documents recently that my staff was provided. Just showed up at one of their events, and they have a slide, I would say, or in this deck, where it lists what the Federal Reserve is responsible for. It's responsible for the money supply. It's responsible for the 2-tier rails of the banking system, the overnight window, those types of things that we're used to, right? You know what the bullet point was at the bottom? Central bank digital currency. They're putting it out in their own materials today, and they have no authority. They have not been directed by Congress to do a thing. Let's understand that what they say is not necessarily what they're doing. You are dealing with central bankers around the world, which I am not opposed to the central banking system. But the idea, and I think these people literally looked at this more than a decade ago and said, oh, look at those kids that are playing with this Satoshi white paper, and isn't that fun? It's kind of like gaming, right? Virtual gaming, it's virtual money, it's never going to go anywhere. And oops, then it started gaining some traction because people don't trust the way our money supply has been handled. They don't trust our monetary policies. They're worried about what our government is failing to do to ensure stability and a prosperous future. So what do? It starts to grow. And what do these bureaucrats do? They go, and by the way, bureaucrats with their partners in the private sector who are using the existing 2-tier banking system and want to protect it because that's their market share, they went, well, now we got to kill it. And so they started taking actions to try and knock this train off the tracks, and they found out much what the Chinese found out. By the way, Chinese, you can't mine. They haven't been able to shut it all down. If they can't shut it down, nobody's going to shut it down. So they realized at some point, one, it's here, and it's not going away. 2, I can't shut it down, so guess what I'm going to do now? I'm going to swallow it up and make it part of what we run, because then we will control it. That's the innocent way of looking at it. The not so innocent way of looking at it is when people say to me, yeah, I know what you keep saying about the digital yuan and how they use that to control the population. They turn your card on, they turn your card off. You have the outbreak in Wuhan. You can't pay for a hotel room. You can't buy transportation out of there. In fact, they will tell you when you can go to the grocery store because they'll turn on your card. That will never happen here in the Western Hemisphere. Anybody familiar with Justin Trudeau and what he did to shut down the protests up in Ottawa? He did exactly that. And again, I appreciate the question. I appreciate that somebody is asking what is legitimate. You know, if Congress has the authority and they're the only way that this can happen, well, if you want to just assume people are going to do the things that you expect them to do, you do that at your own risk. I look at it this way. They are already moving in this direction. They already have friends of ours, people who believe in individual liberty and freedom, the right to self-determine, who think this is a good idea. I just want to remind you, two different things, but in the early 1970s, they created something called FISA courts. These were special courts that were created by Congress for what? To surveil foreign nationals that might be up to no good on American soil. And you know what the argument was made back in the 70s? I wasn't there. I was a kid. I was actually having fun. The argument back then was made, it will never be used to spy on American citizens. I rest my case.
Tom Emmer wrote a tweet saying, if you want to assume unelected bureaucrats are going to do the things you expect them to do, you do that at your own risk. This administration is already moving in the direction of a CBDC, and the events of this week have only made that more clear. And that's pretty clear. The government has for the longest time shown their true intentions. All we had to do was take a step back and closely monitor their actions. For instance, they went for the only crypto network that was capable of handling CBDCs by giving power back to the people. Now they want to launch the CBDCs that will likely come with specific rules and regulations. Don't get me wrong, we all crave for regulatory clarity in the cryptoverse. But what the government is doing, I highly doubt is in the interest of the crypto traders and investors. But before we get down to all that, let's roll that intro. As always, welcome to Moneyside, your favorite crypto channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you get updates when we drop new videos. Don't forget to smash that like button, and you can always leave a comment or a question in the section below.
More importantly, Neil, why is our government going after the crypto business? Signature, they initially announced that the issue was they were banking crypto and making loans. They weren't. They were just banking crypto, and even the New York Financial Services Department, the head of that, has acknowledged crypto had nothing to do with Signature. Barney Frank, the former chair of the House Financial Services Committee, has said it appears that this is an attack on crypto. In fact, two sources have told Reuters that anybody who buys Signature has to agree they will not bank crypto. So it's really interesting, Neil. More questions to be answered. If you look at the Fed, which just announced that this summer it's going to release or going to kick off its Fed Now program, which is a payment system that would settle payments within seconds. It's interesting, is our government competing with the private sector right now, and are these banks that are banking crypto actually the target of their angst?
That's a fascinating, subset of the story. It might be the story. Interesting.
Without a doubt, the collapse of the recent banking systems has led everyone to go for crypto as a solution against what is happening in the American soil. This translated to a soaring bullish trend by Bitcoin, which later calmed down. And I think that's the main reason the government wants to launch an attack on the crypto market. That's because this market is a safe haven for the collapsing economy. However, on the other side, the chokehold the government is trying to put on the crypto market is just to ensure they can get ahead of it. Unfortunately, the crypto market is vast and untouchable. I said that. The vast majority of crypto traders, you see, they're not based in the U.S. What we all need to do is prepare for the coming storm. We are about to witness a massive surge of lawsuits and restrictions just because the banking system is potentially collapsing. And that will likely affect the crypto trading industry in the U.S. The rest of the world will likely profit from this bullish trend. But because of the SEC, U.S. citizens may be locked out from the next bullish trend. However, if all goes well and finally someone steps up and fires Gary Gensler, there might be a chance for U.S. traders to gain from the crypto market. All in all, if you have your crypto in any exchange, right now is the perfect time to store them in cold wallets before the government comes for us. We don't know the next exchange to collapse, but from the looks of things, it seems like the government might have an eye out for Binance. And if Binance collapses, it could cause a cataclysmic effect like no other in the crypto market. As always, do your own research and always trade safely, guys. Please keep in mind, we're not a licensed financial advisor. All videos on this channel are intended for entertainment purposes only. Let us know what you think in the comments section below, and let's have a conversation. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like this video, and please click on that subscribe button below and turn on notifications so you get informed whenever we post our amazing content. Thanks again, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next Money Side.